So episode 2, huh? What do we think? What are we all thinking? Um I don't know if I have as much to say about it as I did episode 1 because there were developments. There were developments in like understanding more of the characters, the story, of course, but it feels like building off of what was already set in foundation of episode 1, if that makes sense. But really interesting developments there. Um, like, sorry, a lot to process as always. But from the start, the threat of the nightmares being more established is it's interesting because I had a feeling that they would like it's natural that they appear in other people's dreams and everything. Like I knew that that was gonna be a case, and that Baku would be going into other dreams to fight the nightmares off. But to know that like him Baku being in other people's dreams, uh how do I word this? Well, with what information we know about Zetsu's powers already that was revealed in promotional material and stuff like that, um it a lot of powers for sure, and naturally they're going to get introduced gradually over the course of the show. But I thought what was also interesting is because in the first episode, Baku was able to kind of literally change the environment around him, um, to match what he needed. And that already felt like another super insane power to have. But the knowledge that not only does he not have the ability to do that in other people's dreams, because, they're not his dreams, but also that the nightmares are automatically more powerful in other people's dreams because that is essentially their domain. It puts an interesting limit, I think, on the fights that are going to be going forward. And speaking of the fights, the transform ability got introduced, and I mean, we saw it in action like one whole time, but I think it was very cool the way they did it, because I imagine that Baku stopping the truck was possibly going to be him going stretchy or some form of that, because that's typically what I'm used to when it comes to hearing about transformation powers. So him just simply essentially spiking the tire of the truck and causing it to, you know, derail was really fucking smart of him. And I just find that so cool. I find that a very cool usage of the transformability, because that also, essentially opens a gateway for more problem solving, and that is my favorite thing when it comes to powers and fights, is trying to guess how characters are gonna get themselves out of it with what they have on them. Um, the Bomb Nightmare, he's so cool. He's so cool. The two whole nightmare designs that we have so far are insanely cool, and I absolutely love them, and I'm way too excited for all the potential ones coming in the future. Uh, I want to talk more about the nightmares, designs, motifs, etc. like a bit later when we have more information on them, because I think there's a lot that could be said about them depending on what direction they go to. But speaking of the nightmares, I think that that cliffhanger essentially of of kind of, I guess, the revelation that nightmares will only kind of manifest in minds if they are a wish that the person who is having this nightmare has, like, kind of deep rooted in them in a way. And that's interesting to me because it's like, I feel I feel like that's not exactly right. Like something about that feels a bit misleading cuz I don't think deep down uh that Mr. Fujimi would want to essentially bomb a police station. Like, I don't think that is a deep down desire that he has that specifically. I'm wondering if it's if it's potentially in a more metaphorical sense or in a more emotional sense, if that makes sense. Like he doesn't want to bomb the police station. He wants to or like he doesn't want to bomb the police station, but he could have some resentment towards his job. He could have some emotions building up, and in his dream that takes the place as physical violence against it. Because currently, from what we've seen of him, I can't fathom him having this drastic of a desire. I think it's more so my theory is that it's more so the nightmares kind of building upon the feelings that already exist there and then taking shape through those means. Um, but that's just a theory, and considering how Baku's dream in the first episode literally had a gun nightmare taking shape there, like I don't think Baku's the kind of guy who would just go around wielding a gun, like for the sake of causing violence. Like I think the gun nightmare showing up is, but like a manifestation of the subconscious desire of being a secret agent and what comes with that. But again, that's a whole theory of how these nightmares could potentially work. Speaking of Mr. Fujimi, I was very happy to see more of him and Natsuka uh this episode, and oh my god. Oh my god, they're fucking nerds. Holy shit. Come on guys, that roll into the van, that was not necessary, but y'all did anyway, and I love that that happened. I love how the dynamic between Mr. Fujimi and Natsuka is gonna be like, it seems that it's gonna be more guy who's very enveloped uh in his work and passionate about it, and reluctant assistant who, who's kind of being forced into understanding more about this world, but also she's kind of secretly just as unhinged as he is in some way. Or, well, I say unhinged, but you know what I mean. It could also mean a little goofy, a little silly, things like that. And, it was just fun. I just had fun seeing them on screen. And, Baku, honey, sweetie, what the fuck was that attempt to hide your belt? At the start. What was that attempt? What was that attempt? Yeah, sure, I'm just gonna bunch my shirt around and make it look like I'm hiding something under there. Good job, King. No wonder. No fucking wonder they could immediately tell you were hiding something. Uh, Also, the fucking cat impression was incredible. I just need to see more of these three interacting and more of Fujimi and Natsuka uh or Naska, sorry, I'm getting used to the names. Naska interacting in general because it's so fun. Um speaking of characters, of course, we have to talk about the giant transforming robot in the room. Or, well, I say giant, but he's like people sized, but semantics. He's still a big robot, and I love that. Um, Little disappointed at the revelation that no, Zero is not a sentient robot and that there's someone controlling him, but that's because I am a robot nerd who likes when robots have sentiency and autonomy. Um, but putting that aside, I I need more Zero. I need more Zero, man. He was so fun. I don't know who on the writers team decided to have that, like, to who decided to have that joke of Baku just sitting on Zero while he was still in robot mode. But please keep them on the team and have them just deliver more shit like that, because that caught me very off guard and I loved it. I am so very sad that we're not gonna get Zero running on all fours into battle. Because how would they do that? But like, it's a funny mental image. Come on, work with me here. Um, I also. First of all, love the gachapon. Like, it feels like those scenes in like spy media where like the head guy is like, and here's the weapons that you'll be taking on your mission, and like it's like a showcase of the weapons, but they have them in like the gachapon machine instead. Like, that's fun. That's a fun way of doing it, and keeping that's a fun way working with both of the themes you have going on. um and the detail, jumping back to Zero real quick, I like the detail that Baku does not fucking understand English in the slightest. He is only able to understand and speak it when he's in his dreams. First of all, that has funny implications of just dreams in general, but like, it's interesting. It's very interesting, and I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it greatly. Um, last thing I think the last thing I wanna talk about is, Nemu, because she interests me. Like, she very much interests me. Um, because I think like, I was curious about her from the get-go. Like, since we heard that she was going to be showing up in dreams, I was wondering like, is I was wondering kind of what the story behind that was. And so we kind of got a little more context in this episode. Like, she appears in everyone's dreams. Self-admittedly that admittedly that she appears in everyone else's dreams. Um, but in Baku's dream, or not Baku's dream, but at the when he was in Fujimi's dream at the start of the episode, she said that she knows that she's in a dream and that she plays the part of whatever role she's in there. So I'm wondering now, like, is it possibly, is it a potential case that she's kind of like Zetsu in a way, where she can show up in other people's dreams, or is it like a collective consciousness, or is it that the person who's dreaming of her is aware that they are dreaming of her, and then by extension her avatar in those dreams is aware that she is just merely an avatar in those dreams? Like, I don't know how to explain it, but she really interests me, and I really want to learn more about her and like her role in the story, cuz it's so interesting. Like, the potential there is just so interesting. All in all, very good episode. I loved what was being built on. It was joyous. It was great. It was wonderful, and mm, I I don't know what else to say. I'm so bad at this. Help me. Oh man, but I'm already excited for next week. I'm already excited for next week because I can tell that we're gonna get more information and that potentially my theory of nightmares could be confirmed or disproven, but we will have to wait and see.